Hey, welcome back to Lons TV. I realize I looked back at some of the old ones, and I keep saying, hey, welcome to an all-new Lons TV, and that is dumb to say on YouTube. I'm used to saying that on live streaming web, where it would make sense. It's like, hey, right now, it's an all-new one, it's happening now, but obviously, you could hit play on this 5 times, and then that 5th time it's not all new anymore. It's only new when I post it. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to say that anymore. But welcome to another episode. I want to talk right here at the top. I was driving into my neighborhood. I was running some errands this morning, and I saw this billboard. And it's right when you come in from Hollywood into Los Feliz, and it's for Bank of America. And it's got this young, hip-looking guy, and he's in a vest, and he's typing on his smartphone, and the caption is, I can do my banking while I wait in line at the food truck. It's like, ugh. To be reduced, to have you and your neighborhood and your lifestyle reduced so stupidly to like a type, like a demo. That's what hips, they're in vests and they wait in line at food trucks. I mean, what do you want? And also, it's just stupid. That that's not a good appeal to people who wait in line. If I'm waiting in line at a food truck for like an hour to get a taco, like, I don't need to do my banking that quickly. I got all day. Clearly, I have all day because I'm waiting in line for a taco out of a truck for an hour. So I think you've missed the mark entirely there, Bank of America. It doesn't make any sense as an ad campaign at all. And also just so transparent, like, let's relate to these people, let's, get into it, and it's like, oh, man, it's just gonna be, next it's gonna be like the emo kids like to do online banking too, single tier. Anyway, that's not the point of the episode today. I want to review this movie that I watched. It's called Beyond a Reasonable Doubt. It's a remake. This is a new film. It's a remake of a 50s film that Fritz Lang did called Beyond a Reasonable Doubt with Dana Andrews that I have never seen. But I was home for Thanksgiving, and I was talking to my grandfather who's loving Netflix and getting into it, and he watched this and really liked it. And it does have Michael Douglas in it, so I thought I would give it a try. I did not realize when I hit play on Netflix that it was directed by Peter Hyams. He is a legendary schlockmeister. He's one of those guys that early in his career, he made movies that maybe they weren't like great movies, but they're defensible. He did Outland, he did 2010, the year we made Contact, he did Time Cop. I mean, I'm not going to go to the mat and be like, those are classic films, but like I could see making a case for each of them, that they're like above average and fun, and then there was a slide down, and now he just makes just awful nonsense. And he did this one that I had totally forgotten about until I saw it on his filmography called Stay Tuned that I saw in theaters. And it's John Ritter and Pam Dauber, and Jeffrey Jones is Satan, and he traps them inside a satanic television, and they're getting chased through parodies of TV shows of the era when this movie was made. And I looked some of them up because, of course, Wikipedia has a voluminous Stay Tuned page with every satire broken down. And some of them they're so lame. Dwayne's Underworld instead of Wayne's World. Northern Overexposure. What? Driving Over Miss Daisy. More of like the over-under parody. They were really into that. I Love Lucifer. Wink. And then my favorite one, Unmarried with Children. Because it's like there's that show and then this is the opposite of that. It's just, oh God, I remember it now, and even like at 12 years old, or however old I was when I saw this movie, even then, the young Lon was not impressed by what I was seeing. So he did that one, and he did End of Days with Schwarzenegger, and then that one, Sound of Thunder, that really didn't even come out. It had Ed Burns and Ben Kingsley in it, but they didn't even get to finish the effects. I think the production actually ran out of money, so it never really even came out. It was in like a theater for a day or two. Anyway, not a stellar filmography, so I sort of felt, once I saw that afterwards, it made more sense, like I should have known what I was getting into. Basically, it's a thriller, and it's built on the dumbest premise ever. Like, I don't know if the original Fritz Lang movie had this same premise, but if it did, why would you ever remake this? Like, that's why I've never heard of it or seen it, and it's in the bargain bin of thriller history. Anyway, here's the premise. So Jesse Metcalfe from, I guess he's from Desperate Housewives, and he was John Tucker and John Tucker Must Die. He's a journalist, and Michael Douglas is the DA. And Metcalfe thinks that he's on to a story that all of these big cases, Michael Douglas is the DA, like never loses, he wins every case. And Metcalfe thinks that it's because he's creating DNA evidence to frame everybody so that there's always like a lockdown case. Like, He figures out who he's going to prosecute, and then he just fakes evidence against them in order to secure a conviction. So he does what you'd naturally do if you thought you had stumbled onto this. He actually goes to a real homicide, and he fakes the evidence to make it look like it's him, and he has his buddy videotape him, and then the plan is he'll be arrested and put on trial. Michael Douglas, the DA, will make up fake evidence against him, and then at the trial they'll show the video of them faking the whole thing, like, oh, I didn't really do it, and then you faked evidence, and go to jail, and everybody, and he's like the hero, and they give him the Pulitzer, which, of course, like every movie about a plucky journalist, there's a scene of him going like, I'm gonna get the Pulitzer for this. Like that's the only thing that drives journalists. Like, everybody in the journalism field is just like, what can I do to get the Pulitzer this year? Anyway, it's completely ridiculous. There's a million reasons you could use to pick apart why this is a ridiculously stupid plan, but there are two that I was particularly irritated by during the film. The first one is, if you are going to a real murder, like where a real woman was murdered, and you fake it to make it look like it was you, then that means you're letting the real person who killed everybody go. Like, they're not going to be looking for them because they think it's you. So you're letting somebody get away with murder. And also, that's a crime. That's a felony on its own. And the second thing that is just ridiculous about it is, even if I showed up, if you've arrested me, and then I show up and like, but look, I have a video of me buying the pants I used during the murder. Look, I have a video of me getting a dog, and the guy who did the murder had a dog. And it's like, wait, but you still could have committed the murder. Anyway, there's a million reasons why it's stupid. I mean, why would anyone do it, and let alone get their friend to, like, film them and go along with it? They get multiple people involved in such a ridiculous plan. It's just really stupid, and then there's a few other twists they try at the end, none of which are really working well, and if you're savvy, you've probably already figured out what one of them might be. I looked it up. It's actually got a 4% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is generous. I mean, I don't know who those 4 out of 100 critics were, but they missed the mark on this one. It's one of the worst showings on Rotten Tomatoes I've ever seen, except for Nutcracker in 3D, which is in theaters now, which had a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes last time I checked, and is legitimately one of the worst things I've ever seen, and I will have to talk about it soon, but that's for a different episode. This just about wraps up today's Lons TV. I think that's enough trashing a movie for one show. I will see everybody back here on my channel tomorrow, if you want. I can't force you. And please do subscribe. We're at 99 subscribers as I'm making this, which means any minute now, somebody's going to be lucky, subscribe to 100, and win nothing. But I will be really appreciative, and it would make me feel good to have 100 subscribers. Nice round number. So let's get there. Thanks, everybody. I will see you tomorrow.